Let's go.
Victory!
Let's go, Celtics. Live. Post-game. What a hell of a game. Jayson Tatum's going off. Steph Curry's going off. The Celtics complete a comeback in the middle of that game. It's up there for one of the most entertaining, engaging, interesting games of the year. And the Celtics catch the dub. 6 games in a row, is it, now that they've won? You know, 1 loss out of their last X amount of games, too. This team seems like they're turning it around. This was a game that the old Celtics, when they were down like 15 plus, this was a game they would have rolled over and died and just given up on. But no. Jayson Tatum said, you know what? I know Steph Curry's going for damn near 50 points tonight. But you know what I can do? And we'll jump right to it. I can do that too. I'm going to go for 44 points, 10 boards on 65% shooting and 60% from 3 and 90% from the line. Jayson Tatum, player of the game tonight. Whew. I mean, he competed right there with Steph Curry. Let's jump to the box score. I don't need to ramble anymore. We're going to get to some of the chat tonight because I know the chat is flying. Jayson Tatum, 44 points, 10 boards from him. Kemba Walker stepped up. Cardiac Kemba. He had the huge 3 at the end. 26 points, 8 boards from him. Marcus Smart, 16. Rough shooting night until a couple big ones that he made. I'm not loving the 3 of 11 from 3, but he did make that huge one at the end of the game. So 16, 9, and 6 from him. And then Jabari Parker's worth noting. Jabari Parker out here. 11 points in 15 minutes. 4 rebounds as well. All around, guys. Awesome Celtics game to watch, to win, everything like that. So if you're enjoying the stream right now, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support the show, I do not force it upon you guys, but it really, really would be much appreciated if you guys do find that first link in the description and consider donating to the stream. But let's get into some of the chat tonight. Again, hit that subscribe button, like the stream. Let's go. Big win. Dennis saying, what a game. Brad saying, yes, let's go. Donovan saying 6-game winning streak. Kevin saying game of the year. AC's asking game of the year. Guys, I think it's up there. That is up there. I mean, it's the only reserve I have there is like, oh, well, the Celtics were technically injured. You know, no Jalen, Fournier too. But I don't know if you have to, you have to have those things for it to be a game of the year. You have a guy, a Titan in Steph Curry going for 47 points, I think he finished with. And Jayson Tatum eyeing him each way, making a big shot after he makes a big shot. Guys like Jabari stepping up when you don't even know what you're getting out of this guy. Marcus Smart hitting big shots. Kemba going for 26. I'm saying it's a game of the year candidate right now. Ubi saying, let's go. Jags is saying, Lord have mercy. What a game. Brad saying, Geno time. Steven saying, Tatum top 10. The way he's playing right now, he is. How can anyone deny the way he is playing right now? It is absolutely crazy the way that he's playing right now. Let's see. The Delta's saying Tatum and Curry were awesome. It was. I mean, Steph doesn't do anything that really should, unless like you don't like the showboating stuff. He's like a good villain or a good opponent, I should say. He shouldn't get under your skin as much. So it's good to see him go off. And at least, you'd hate it if he was killing the Celtics and they rolled over and died. But the fact that now in retrospect, the Celtics ended up winning the game, Jayson Tatum goes off, you love that Steph went for 47. Do you know what I mean? AC says, you better have a victory beer. I tried earlier and there's something going on with my stomach tonight. There's something going on with my stomach tonight, I'll be completely honest. So I do have water on deck. AC, I know that bums you out. I know you're not proud of me for that one, but when I tell you something's going on with the stomach, it's true. News saying, give me that dub. Jag saying, game of the year. Okay, guys, hey, if you're doing to do it, if you're going to say it, let's book it in. The game of the year. Ubi saying Ev stream versus the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. Kev saying Tatum's first major. Shout out. Terry saying what a game. Donovan saying Tatum sub had bacon on it. Fab saying what a game. Welcome Parker. Yeah, we could talk about Jabari Parker for a second, guys. I mean, out of all these new guys, Fournier, Wagner, Cornette, any of these new guys, Parker came in and looked like he was going to do what kind of like they all have seemed to do and kind of got off to a slow start, like a turnover right away. And every Celtics fan goes, right? But then all of a sudden he starts getting these loose balls, putting it in. Now, I'm not trying to overhype Jabari Parker here, but we have to be completely honest that he looked like he could actually contribute to this team. The defense, but some of these finishes inside and him just like, he's not even remotely comfortable on this team yet. They signed him, last night? Like, come on. I liked what I saw out of Parker tonight. He was a +6. Again, he had 11 points, 4 rebounds. The 2 turnovers that he had came like right away. So for the rest of the game, he actually played pretty damn well. Sergio saying Cardiac Kemba. Yeah, he did. Cardiac Kemba came out tonight, 26 and 8 from him. J-Max saying, let's go. Lance saying, Curry must be a player for the MVP. Yeah. Greg says, that was the best game of the year, and Donkey Draymond sucks, missing a wide open layup down 3. Jag saying, shout out to Jabari Parker, more points tonight than Mr. Wagner's 8 games in the C's. Sergio saying, to anybody who's mad about Jabari Parker. Jabari Parker. Seriously. Like, he looks, and now, again, just like we can't overreact to the Fournier dud of a debut or some of these other guys, I don't want to overreact to Jabari Parker, going off for what was he? 5 of 6 from the field, 11 points, again, 4 rebounds. Like, I don't want to overreact to that, but how good would it be to have a guy like Jabari Parker, that sort of we'll call him a power forward, be able to come in and contribute, give you double-digit points. Like, oh my God, guys, if that's what we're getting, whew. AC saying, imagine the stream starting and the music kicks up and then we go live to an empty chair, Ev on the floor in fetal position. Mike Earl saying, almost fun to watch again. No, I don't even know if it's almost. I don't know, Mike. I honestly think this team might be back to sort of, even if they're not going to win games, but they are winning right now, even if they're not going to win every single game, I honestly think they might be back to just competing and fighting, getting back to that sort of Celtics pride, Celtics vibe that we've always loved. Even if you're not going to win the game, do what you can to win the game. Do pull out all the stops, fight to tooth and nail. I think that's what we're seeing. Now, again, as crappy as it is, we have a larger sample size of a team that wasn't this team, right? Wasn't the team that's going to come back from double digits and whatnot. So I'm willing to start believing. I'm drinking a little bit of that Kool-Aid, but I'd be really let down if this team goes back to their old ways. We have so many things clicking. It seems like Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when they're playing, they're not playing as much iso ball. Marcus Smart's making those defensive plays we haven't seen in a while. Kemba Walker hopefully picking it up. Brad Stevens seems way more engaged. Like, everything's coming along right now, and I just hope it keeps going. Wongy saying Bacon sub wins. AC saying Parker will really help the team. Now you've got that bench that can score. I really hope that he keeps doing it. Like I said, I really do. Guys, if you're watching and new, please hit that subscribe button. And I will say again, it's not necessary, but I would truly appreciate anyone that decides to donate. It's the first link in the description. You can support the stream. We got an animation that'll pop up on the show last stream. When someone donated, I think we all saw what happens, but I hope I fixed that. There's only one way to test if a donation's going to crash the stream again. But let's keep going with the chat here. Wongy's saying inhaler season. I think, who was it? Jeff Van Gundy was like, get everyone on that team an inhaler. Lance saying JT had more bacon than Green. Steven saying, can Jabari take Grant's spot in the rotation? Grant had another night that I'm not going to rag on him for. He shot a couple too many times, I'll be honest. But again, Grant Williams, you guys know my whole shtick with him. I don't like him. I wish he wasn't playing. But he isn't going out there and ass passing like he was a while. Even Grant Williams has upgraded from absolute dog to nothing. At first during the season, he was literally a pile of dog shit on the ground, right? That you walk by and you're like, ew. But now he's just that there's nothing on the ground. You know what I mean? You walk by, you don't even notice anything. You don't notice that there's no shit. You don't notice that he's a lot of nothing to me right now, and that's not the best. I hope that Jabari Parker, what Jabari Parker is supposed to be, should be able to take Grant Williams minutes. We're talking about number 2 overall pick in the draft, a guy tonight that went for double digits in just 15 minutes of play. He should be able to take those minutes, but I'm not sure. I think that this team has a soft spot for Grant, and I think we all got to buckle up for, 25-plus minutes of Grant every night with a lot of zeros on the box score. But as long as he's not absolutely hurting them, I'm not going to complain, I guess. News says I should not be dancing around in April over a Marcus Smart 3. I'm not going to be able to handle the playoffs. Ubi says Luke Cornett for player of the game. I mean, Luke Cornett, hey, he played 5 minutes, 1 of 3 from the floor. He had just 3 points and 1 rebound, but the player of the game, if you missed it, guys, was Jayson Tatum. Surprise, surprise, 44 points, 10 boards from our guy. Let's see. Delta says Parker was as advertised. Andrew saying love Kemba, but F him. I mean, come on. No, it's finally good to see Kemba kind of step up in the big moments. Forget the 26 points. We've now seen, that's just for tonight, we've now seen a couple, was the overtime game against Minnesota or was it Portland when Kemba made an absolute monster 3? regardless, we're finally starting to see a guy that can step up and sort of crunch or clutch time. And these last few games are proof of that so far. So, damn, I mean, I'll take this out of Kemba any day of the week. And he doesn't have to go for 26 every night. If he gets that, 18 to 20, but hits the shots you need him to hit, I don't think we're going to be ragging on Kemba very, very much. Gary says 4 a.m. in Scotland. What a game. That's a good, might even go. Jeez, I just misread that. 4 a.m. in Scotland. What a game. That good. I might even go and get the wife one. Terry saying Jabari repping for everyone in Illinois. Let's see. Let's go Celtics saying what's good. Ubi says Jabari's first game and he's probably outscored our bench for the entire season. Hey, he had 11 points, which means what was the game the starters went off? Was it Portland and the bench had 10 points? So Jabari did outscore the bench in that game. Steven says people don't realize Parker is a career 15-point per game scorer. He provides scoring off the bench 100%. 100%. Like I'm buying into Parker, and not necessarily like, oh my God, he's going to give us 15 every night, right? What I'm buying in as is that even with his sort of history, he immediately becomes one of your most potential scorers off the bench. Like, what is someone going to tell me? Oh, Jabari's been injured. He has multiple knee surgeries, blah, blah, blah. Romeo Langford, Grant Williams, those guys are better scorers than him? No. Regardless of what you're going to get from Jabari, that sort of ceiling is a way better scorer than even remotely close to anything, or anything else is not even remotely close to him. MT saying Jabari was awesome tonight. Screw the haters that didn't like the addition. Longest win streak in the NBA belongs to the Celtics. Mike saying Kemba and Tatum came to play, and it's good to see that. It's good to see them combine for 70 points in a game where Jaylen Brown's out with a non-COVID related illness. Like that's really, really needed. It's good to see those guys step up and them not really take their foot off the gas. Jags donating again. Can you guys hear me? Did that break the audio? I think you guys can hear me. I see the bar working. Shout out to Jags for the donation. I truly, truly appreciate it, man. Thank you for the 5. Thank you, Jazz. I mean, Jags came in clutch with the donation last stream too, so I really, really appreciate it, man. He says audio crash in 3, 2, 1. Shout out to Tatum and Parker and Ev, every single one of you. Don't forget Kemba, but shout out to Jags. Thank you very much for the $5. Again, if anyone else wants to donate, I greatly appreciate it. It makes my night. This Celtics win is just getting better and better. Thank you, Jags. Here we go. Greg saying, Jabari Parker in one game already was better than Romeo, Grant, and Semi combined. Jesus, it feels nice to have a legit bench player if healthy. Now, I don't even know if you're getting at this, Greg, but if healthy, like, I guess you probably are getting at that he's such a guy that when we talk about this team's already struggling with health, this guy has had the worst luck when it comes to health in this league and whatnot. So let's hope Jabari keeps going, because to be completely honest, the dude's 26 years old. Like, he hasn't really had his true opportunity in this league. And whether it's off the bench on the Celtics or whatever, like, this could be his true, opportunity where he doesn't have all the focus on him or the expectations. It's a comeback story and he can do his thing. So I'm really, really rooting for him, as everyone I'm sure is. Sports saying, let's go Celtics. Great games. Thanks for your videos. No, thank you, man, for tuning in. Again, guys, hit that subscribe button if you are not yet subscribed. I don't know what's going on here, but I think we just hit, we're at like 500 and change subs last stream, which was only a couple days ago. I checked this morning. We're at like 535. By tonight's stream, we're over 540. The channel's growing. I can't even imagine us getting to 1,000 subscribers, so I can't thank you guys enough. So please hit that subscribe button. Sergio saying his sub had bacon. Steven saying 44-piece chicken wing dinner. Terry saying the Celtics -3 hit, never in doubt. Yeah, so it was in doubt. It was in doubt, but I know you're making the joke there. Nate saying, let's go. The Celtics team finally got me back engaged. I haven't yelled at a Celtics game since that Thunder game right before COVID. Hey, that game literally got me going so many times. I was up off my couch. I was standing 2 inches away from the TV. And the great thing was, so I had done that multiple times, when they take a big 3 or something like that, I'm kind of like, oh no, I get close. And then it doesn't go in, right? This time, finally, I have the get off my couch, go to the TV, the shot goes in, and then I celebrate. I feel like I've been missing that for so long, which is crazy. Mustafa saying national media need to speak on Tatum like they do with Luka and Zion. And the refs. I mean, I know Tatum complains to the refs and stuff, but he doesn't get nearly the calls that a lot of those guys do too. It tells me Tatum doesn't. Everyone respects Tatum. Everyone knows what Tatum is, but I don't think the national media really does put him at that level. And maybe it's because he'll have inconsistent games and stuff, but no Joe Schmo just going for 44 points, 53 points a week ago. Like, Tatum's killing it right now. He deserves that respect. Deshaun, the guy that called this sort of streak, says they've been scouting Jabari for a minute, I'm assuming. Yeah, they knew it because they played him. I would have said, if someone asked me, like, is he going to play, I would say, no way. You know what I mean? But he goes and plays. AC saying shotgun Pepto. Oh, you have no idea how bad I wanted to shotgun on stream tonight and whatnot, but I'm telling you, my stomach is just chocked. There's just no chance. What are we at for like, guys? Let's see what we're at for likes. We got plenty of people in here. We have 24 likes. Can we get that up to 30 right now? Can we get those likes up to 30 right now? Got 24. We got way more people in the stream than have liked the video. Let's see what we got. Sergio saying, I see no reason to play Grant more than Jabari. His defense started to show off. He started off slow, but he improved throughout the game. Yeah, I mean, Jabari isn't a defender. He even has the quote from a few years back. It's like they don't pay people to play defense. But I do think that it's not necessarily Jabari taking the minutes from Grant. I think Brad Stevens is going to ride Grant until the cows come home. I really do. Like, I think that he's sort of the coach's, little favorite, I guess. But hey, if I'm not going to rag on Grant as much as I have in the past, if he's going to go out there and not absolutely kill them, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't like. And I don't like Grant Williams taking 8 shots, but it is what it is. I do hope Jabari starts to, at least impede on those minutes. Because I'm not looking for, if we're going to get this Jabari Parker every single night, I'm not looking for a Jabari Parker that plays, 10 minutes and Grant to play 30. Nate says, parking lot, Pritchard, that was crazy. In a game where he's playing against Steph Curry too, which is great to see. Ian saying this team is back, can make a push for the conference finals if they keep this play up. Not a hot take, it's true. Jabari Parker is Ainge's best midseason addition for the cost. And what's the cost? Really nothing. Like, screw the contracts and all that. Everyone's like, well, the guaranteed 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Leave it at the door. These guys that you get mid-season, that you just sign, later on in the year after the deadline stuff, those are such no risk. And I don't mean low risk. No risk scenarios that if they go and pay off 11 points in 15 minutes on 85% from the field, if they go and pay off, it's like a no-brainer. And if they don't, say Jabari Parker were to go in there and he turns it over like he did in possession 1, and then he kept doing that over and over and over again, who cares? You're just back to square one. You throw in Grant Williams, you throw in Romeo, you throw in Semi. It's a no-risk situation with a potential reward. Why did they, I just feel like they could have been doing this with multiple guys, but maybe they had their eye on him. You guys hit 30 likes. I just checked it. Shout out to you guys for doing that so quick. Maybe they just have liked Parker for so long. It must have been the case. All right, guys, I'm going to skip ahead in the chat because, to be completely honest, I am so far behind, and I know that I am just not even remotely responding to any recent comments. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit to AC's comment. He says, the bench will have Thompson, Fournier, Parker, and Pritchard. That's sexy cash money. And if you want to donate to the stream, everyone, the link is it's the first link in the description. But yeah, think about this. Now, let me say this. You only need like 8 guys in the playoffs for, to be a true depth team in the playoffs. I think Brad Stevens is always going to try and push that limit. So call it 9 guys. If these names I'm about to mention play like they should or play like they can, you don't have as bad of a bench as you think. Fournier, Thompson, Pritchard, Parker. If those guys all play at their peak, and then you have your sort of other guys, exchange guys that can go in and out. Grant, Ogilvy, Langford, those guys, if every one of those guys is doing what they're supposed to do, which it's a huge ask, I get it, you don't have as bad of a bench as you once did. Like, if Jabari Parker works out, you went from a bench that really, really stunk to a bench that now has Fournier, a 20-point-per-game scorer this year, or Marcus Smart, who, depending on who starts. But one of those two, and then Jabari Parker, and then Tristan Thompson, a veteran off the bench, and then Peyton Pritchard, a spark plug rookie. The bench isn't as bad. Now, I'm so glad that they went and added to it, because I think if Parker keeps playing like this, it's an absolute, if you can get 10 out of him every single night, people don't even understand. I know we're all hyped up, but I don't think people understand how good this team actually can be. And maybe you guys do understand, so I won't sell you short, but that's huge, huge, huge. Let's just hope he does it. Delta saying, is Langford any better than Neesmith? Langford looked bad the last couple of games. You guys, you know my stance on Langford, and you guys rag on me for it. I've had to defend it. He's a whole lot of nothing. Now, I'm glad that he's getting his chance. He's been playing early in games, then sat because he does nothing. But to me, I'm not impressed by Langford, but that's fine. Like I keep saying, and this is my quote, and I think it's a great quote. Don't have expectations for Langford. If you have expectations for him and we do the Grant Williams effect, we're only gonna potentially get let down. You know, not we, because I didn't really like him from the jump, but a lot of people were so high on Grant Williams that when he went out there and stunk this year, that sort of love turned into hate. If we were all just even keel on Grant Williams forever, no one would even care what he's doing now. But everyone loved him, and the fall from love was so hard that now he's got a lot of hate. If everyone puts Romeo Langford on this pedestal and he does happen to disappoint, all of a sudden he's going to get hated on. So I keep saying, this is the way to live by with Romeo Langford. Let Romeo Langford impress you. Don't let him meet your expectations. Go with the sort of no expectations approach, and if he impresses you, great. If not, then who cares? He's a wasted pick. Move on, because he hasn't done too much to impress me yet, but I'm also not holding any expectations for him, so he's a nothing right now in my book. Dean says he had more points tonight than Semi and Grant have all month. Terry says, Watch has played against Jabari since he was in high school. Regardless of what level he is, he can score. Defense disappears often, but a score off the bench, he is perfect. Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone, that was like the social media claim, right? Last night when they signed him, he can't play a lick of defense. Do you think that Danny Ainge and other people involved in the decision got in a room and said, all right, let's go get Jabari Parker for some defensive presence? No, they know exactly what they're getting. They got him to be a scorer, not to go out and defend Joel Embiid or lock up Luka Doncic. Like, they got Jabari Parker for what he is. Anyone that says, he stinks at defense, no kidding. I keep preaching that on this show. I say, you're going to trade for or get anyone, it's not going to be Mr. Incredible. Like, you're going to get a guy that, he's really good at this, but every NBA player, barring, less a couple of them, has, oh my God, he's really good at this, but blank. Like, it frustrates when people, like, the first reaction when they get Jabari is, oh my God, he stinks at defense. It's like, yeah, great. What, he's going to go out there and let up 100 points a game himself? No, he's just a below average defender that hopefully they can mask. But tonight, like he did, his offense superseded, if that's even prioritized, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. His offense overwrote his defensive struggles. Buzzer saying Celtics are balling out. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are real future superstars, but if you could draft one player this year, who would it be? In this upcoming draft, I'm not as well-rehearsed as I'd like to be in this upcoming draft. Who would you guys want to draft? Throw some names, because that's how it worked last year. With COVID, usually I'm like so in on the college prospects, right? I'm so in on the college prospects, but then COVID screwed it up last year, and I have not recovered. So who would you guys want to draft if you had one person? Deshaun saying, with the addition of Fournier, Jabari, and Cornette, and Rob starting, it's taking us into a serious title contention. I added extra sugar to the Kool-Aid today. Knight saying Jabari needs practice with his footwork on defense. He can have a huge role for this team. I don't care about his defense. And I'm not saying, I'm not disagreeing with you. You're right. Like, as long as I think the Celtics, not historically, but recent history, have been a team that's really good at covering for the defensive lack. They play really good team defense. Not so much this year, but Brad Stevens' mind with a defense anchored by Marcus Smart, it can make a lot of guys' poor defense look a little bit better. So let's hope that's the case with him. Lewis saying, who would you give the last shot, Tatum, Brown, or Kemba? Tatum all the way. Tatum all the way. Lance saying, are you planning on streaming your game reaction? This one? I'm streaming right now. Maybe I missed it. Let's see. News saying ladies are flocking to the stream after seeing that Jay bring. Knight saying we have a good win streak. Just imagine Fournier and Jabari in the backcourt solving our bench problems. Seriously. News saying I know Tatum was your MVP, but who's tonight's I thought we left that in last stream. Who's my MVP? Jayson Tatum played with a lot of MVP-ness tonight. Gear says, I'm so mad I had fallen asleep before the game, just woke up. Was the game good tonight? Gear, you get a Grant Womp Womp. That game was a game of the year candidate. Was that game good tonight? Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. Skipping ahead just a little bit. Sorry about that. Raisin saying, so Tatum's a top player in the league, isn't he? I think he has the ability to. It's a wimpy answer. I get it. But we have seen Tatum, we've talked about it before too, get off to the slow starts or at times, not really show up in games. But, now it's turned into, the second half of last year and this year. If someone says, Tatum doesn't have the ability to be a top 10 player in the league, that's the idiot now. It's not just like biased Celtics fans saying it. He's literally turned into that fringe top 10 guy. Now, do I think maybe he needs maybe one more year before everyone in the league is like, yep, that's a top 10 guy? Yeah, maybe a couple more years before he's like a unanimous top 10 guy, because I think some people just seem to view him in a negative light. But, this kid's on a fast track, and I'm not breaking news here, on a fast track to prove every single hater wrong and then turn everyone into the idiot that doesn't believe in him. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys that people don't like in the league that you just have to admit, yep, that's just like one of the top guys in the league. Even if you don't like the player, you just can't deny it. Tatum's going to be one of those guys, 100%. Dean saying Grant will get minutes to suck. Grant will get minutes in the finals month of the season to save the starters. Landon says, give Danny some credits for changing the team. He did. Fournier, Cornette got rid of Tice with that move. Allowed Robert Williams to start, and kind of took a flyer on him and gave a lot of invested, I guess, in Tristan Thompson. Then he goes and gets Jabari. Did I mention Cornette too? Like, Cornette coming out of nowhere and actually being somewhat of a guy off the bench. I think Danny Ainge did a lot this year, and he made sort of the and this is not to discredit it, but he made the sort of obvious move at the deadline, and then one of the like obvious it wasn't even obvious, but those like easy answers, like we've seen LA sign Andre Drummond and that type of thing. It's like Jabari Parker available. Okay, Celtics get him. You know what I mean? Just makes sense. And trading for Fournier just makes sense. It's been so many times that I feel like we've all thought things made sense, and Danny Ainge still kind of passes up on it. So it's damn good to see him just kind of make the easy move and show that it's paying off. Jabari in the post tonight was awesome. That one time, the mid-range shot he put up right after the long rebounds was smooth and lovely. Yeah, that turnaround sort of shake and bake was awesome. You say the shake and bake, MT says. Sergio says, you can just tell the vibe of this team is so different. There's a fire there unlike before in the trade deadline. Yeah, and I talked about at the beginning of the stream, we didn't have Jaylen Brown, didn't have Robert Williams either. Like, this team was down two of their most important players. And, if you don't want to say Robert Williams in that category, fine, whatever. But it's like they're down two starters, we can at least say. And they still sort of fought with a team that was kicking their ass for the beginning, I guess the middle part of that game. The Celtics said, no. End of the half, we're going to come back. I think it was like a 10-0 run. Tatum hits the halftime buzzer beater, and you're back in it. Steven Cade Cunningham, he's from Oklahoma State. Am I right about that? Yeah, I would like him too. He looks pretty good. Terry says, got to tip my hat to Marcus Smart's determination to keep shooting threes. I now know what you guys Celtics fans talk about. I don't love the Marcus Smart keep shooting, but to have the confidence, I'll say this, and I want to make sure you guys understand this. For Marcus Smart, after a terrible, terrible shooting night, to have the confidence to make that big shot at the end, that goes a long way. Because a lot of guys would be shitting their pants as they shoot that, and it just has no chance of going in. So I know we don't like the Marcus Smart shooting out of his slump sort of approach, but to at least have the guy that has the balls and has the ability to say, you know what, I'm going to make this, and then go and make it, that's what I like. Greg says, I wonder how Toscano Anderson is literally flew and looked awful. Guy was down, mad long, ton of towels. I thought he was bleeding from the head, but it seemed like he was okay walking off. I think they said he had a head laceration. And there had to have been blood because you saw he wasn't like, no bones were going anywhere or different directions. And everyone over there was like, go, come on, to the training staff. So there had to have been blood. And I think they said he had a head laceration. Fighter says Andrew Wiggins is still very underrated. He had 22 points tonight. Amazing. Defense even on Tatum. Plus, I love being back at the Garden tonight. You're back at the Garden, Fighter. But Andrew Wiggins, Jabari in the same game, huh? Just thought about that. But he's I think he's benefiting from Steph being out there. It's not really to take away from him. Let's not forget Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be like the next big thing. So he's been off to a slow start, I guess. But I think he's definitely benefiting from how defensive react to Steph, and he's finally starting to maybe rise up to the occasion. Delta saying Mobley or Kuminga would be great guys I'd want. Lance saying, streaming it live while watching the game. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. Would you guys be interested? I don't know how that would work, because you guys know I can't show you the game, or else YouTube will take the channel and go right away. So I got to figure out. I'm down to some night just watching. I'm no Mike Gorman doing the play-by-play, but I could explain what's happening, and we could just hang out while watching. So that's definitely something. That's definitely something that I want to consider. Would you guys be interested in that? Connor saying, I really want to know what changed during this win streak. Not like we've had Jabari and Fournier during it. Wish we'd been playing like that all season. The one thing we could say is that the media got to them. Kendrick Perkins is probably still taking the victory lap about turning this team around. But I think finally this team, and there was they've heard all of the noise because they've said it themselves. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba, Brad Stevens, they've talked about hearing the noise. And maybe they finally said, wow, this isn't just the media being a bunch of dicks. This media, everyone's saying the same story. We don't have grit. We don't have determination. We're playing hero ball. Brad Stevens thinking, wow, they are talking about my coaching. Maybe I don't have the right philosophy here. And maybe they all decided to make a change and we're finally seeing it. So that's got to be what it is, because there's a different sort of vibe. Terry says, you aren't going to be a top 5 pick, so forget about Cunningham, Suggs, dude from USC, AO does Munu, and someone for death. Lengthy defender, shot creator will be a steal late round. Phil saying, great game. It was a playoff type game. Parker played well, even though he had 2 turnovers in the first 2 possessions. Him and Fournier bring in bench scoring, definitely. Yeah, I hope so. Buzzer says, the Celtics really a contender this year. I'm going to say it's really a semantical thing. Like, contender? I don't know. Like, you guys know how I'm high on the Nets being able to just, when healthy at the end of the year, whoop anyone in a true 7-game series. So I don't know if I really do see this team being able to go and win a championship would be the definition of a contender. But where I will put them at is way differently than I would have said just, a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, for Christ's sakes. Like, this team has turned into a team that is going to compete with any team, best team in the league, worst team in the league, night to night, and night in and night out basis. Like, they can compete with the Nets. Will they beat the Nets in a 7-game series? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say yes if I had a gun to my head. But this team that we're watching in this last week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever it is a team that can contend. So I know I said it, and I kind of told you off the rip. It's a semantical battle here, because I don't know if I would say, stamp contenders on the Celtics' forehead. But can they contend? I do think so. Let's see. Meat saying, give Ainge a thumbs up for getting Parker and Fournier. I know it's going to be huge for him, for them. Ubi says, when will we learn? We always shit on Danny for not making the move in the moment, but he always ends up making the right move for the team. KJ says, Parker is the number 2 reason why they won this game behind Tatum. They don't win if they didn't sign him or didn't play him after night he just signed. Wagner wasn't winning you any games. Great moves. Truly. Well said. Terry saying, Stephen J, did you not read my entire post? I don't know. Or we got a beef in the chat again. Kind of love when that happens. New says, hope we draft the guy somewhere I've never heard of because the last pick of the first round. Need that 1 to 8. Delta says, do you like Cornette? But he got torched a few times tonight on defense. Seems like it happens a little too often for him to be a true rotational player. I like this. I like that Luke Cornette's 7'2", seemingly has good sort of awareness as to where he needs to be. Obviously, he's slow. He's 7'2", but I like a 7'2" guy that can spread the floor. So that's where I leave off on him. Do I think he's going to be a sort of everyday rotation type guy? No, like that, I feel like I'd be kind of foolish to say like we can depend on Fournette in and out of a rotation. But I do think he's worth playing. I do think he's worth, having on the team and actually giving some run. Like, he only played 5.5 minutes tonight. I think he's going to have games where he plays a lot more than that, especially if there's foul trouble at the big man position. So I do like Cornette, but I don't know about true rotational player. Like, he can get exposed, and I always think back to when Embiid got the ball on him in that Sixers game and literally just said, hey, I'm your daddy. I'm going to dribble twice, back down, and dunk on your face. But, yeah. KJ says, unfortunately, Cade's going number 1. Celtics aren't getting him. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the way that I've paid attention outside of March Madness to college hoops this year, and it's unlike me, I usually try and get into the drafts and stuff. If I've heard of the guy, odds are the Celtics aren't going to be able to get him. Steven saying, love Darius Mitchell's game. Greg says, just live stream, but everyone watches themselves on their TV and talk and chat during it. That could be something. It could be something that we do. KJ says, Mobley's going number 2 and 3. Give Ev some more realistic names. Give me some realistic names that I can now go do some research on. KJ's got my back here. Mayhem saying, it sounded like the Garden was sold out. Yeah, that's what I like. Now, obviously, it's not the same attendance, like no duh, but on the TV, you can hear these fans. It's like, I don't know how they've done it, or if maybe, these fans are just rowdy as all hell, but it sounds like the crowd is still there booing air balls or making noise on foul shots for opponents. And you love to hear it. I was going to say you love to see it, but you love to hear it. Connor says, forget about the win streak. What has been the source of the struggle this year? I think that none of them wanted to win. Like, as corny as that sounds, this team had no fight in them. They obviously had the star power. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they've had miraculous games this year. But this team had no sort of vibe of like, hey, let's compete night in and night out. And that's been the struggle. And if that switch has been flipped, this team can go a long way. Ubi says, people here in Canada used to call Wiggins the Maple Jordan. Greg says, I could see us talking that time guy if he drops a IDK we're taking. All right, Timmy guy. Was he the Gonzaga? He's like the crazy white guy. Steven says this is a weak draft, especially late. Tim will be a second rounder. Delta says, I say this team now plays mad. That's a good way to put it. This team plays, I don't know about mad, but like this team plays aggressive. Like this team plays like they don't like the other team. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. So this team plays mad. That's why they don't give up anymore. Where they go down, they get more mad and keep fighting. They have some pride again. Yeah, and again, I don't know if it's like a mad, like in their head, like, oh, I'm frustrated, but I know what you're saying. It's like an aggressive, like they play angry. They play with a chip on their shoulder. Terry's saying it's not that weak of a draft. Raisin says may be able to contend from Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't think they're beating the Nets. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I hope they do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm rooting for the Celtics, obviously, as much as the next guy, but in terms of contender versus contending, I think they're more of a contending team than a true contender. News says, I said this a while back and caught some crap, and I know it's not the only reason, but we have pulled out some tight games since fans came back in our 40s. Our fourth quarters overall are getting much, much better. And I think you guys might even been news earlier in the year talking about, you know, hey, like, do you think that the fans in the TD Garden, it was one of those places, like we can all agree, TD Garden's one of those places that it seems like it's the sixth man out on the floor. Like, is that a big impact? And I kept saying, what's going wrong with the Celtics? Doesn't seem like we can chalk it up to the fans, right? But, I mean, if we're playing better with the fans here, they didn't start that way. You know, they got booed. But if we're playing better with the fans out there, keep them coming and let's chalk them up to that. But, yeah. Guys, I'll say this again. I'm seeing some new names in the chats, and I truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to donate like Jags did at the beginning of the stream, I do appreciate that. It's the first link in the description. We're here live after every single Celtics game. We got the, the whole setup going and stuff like that. And if you do donate, you get the shout out. It pops up on the screen, and I read the message with it. So, if you feel like supporting, if it seems like it's that type of stream for you guys, then definitely consider it. I would appreciate it. Raisin says may be able to contend for Eastern Conference Finals. I see us beating the Nets. News says that. Here we go. Caught up. Buzzer says in a series between the Hawks and Celtics, who wins? I think the Celtics. A healthy Celtics versus the healthy Sox. I think the healthy Hawks. I think the Celtics can beat them. 100%. I think that that Hawks team, while they do have those sort of secondary players, I don't know if and as much as I love Trae Young too, like, I think that's the type of team that you can beat in a 7-game series, because the way that team's going to beat you is if Trae Young can go for like 40, right? He's not going to do that all 7 games, and he could, but I think that I'm taking the Celtics easy over the Hawks. Mayhem says, and that seems like right now, is it right now that's the standings? That would be their first round matchup. Perk and the media turned the season around. They got to Tatum, and he's trickle down effect, hopefully. Steven says Celtics in 5. Ubi says, I think we can beat any team, but I think we're going to go more than 5 games. We go no more than 5 games with the Nets. That's the thing, guys, and it's not a bad thing. We can be realistic, and this team might keep wowing us, and we might change our answer here. But it's one thing to say this team can beat any team, but then in the playoffs, when you're playing this team in 2 nights, and then after that game, you're playing them in 2 nights again, you know what I mean? That's different than being able to beat a team any night. Like, when you have to play a team in an entire series, it gets a little bit harder. Do I think that they can, if they play, they're playing the Nets in a couple nights, can they just beat the Nets on a night like that? Yeah. Now, if they had to play the Nets again, that's where it starts a little bit harder. Connor says Mitchell, Gobert, Ingles, Bojan, Conley, Clarkson are about as good as Kemba, Brown, Tatum, Smart. A year ago, people would say we had a better coach, but the Jazz are the best team, and we're the 4th in the East. It's true. Greg says Cornette barely plays and got 4 blocks last game. He is fine. We need a 7-foot big with Robert Williams and Thompson. Yeah, I think Cornette is fine is a good way to put it. Let's see. Lance saying your streams are just the best post-game show. I do truly appreciate that, man. I truly, truly appreciate that. Terry says, I said it a while back, but I'll reiterate. No Luke Cornette slander. I'll take my subscribe away. Hey, you will not. Hey, whoa. You do not threaten that, Terry. But yeah, no Luke Cornette slander. I mean, he's just not. Luke Cornette isn't going to be like a 25-plus minute night from you type of guy from you unless he's playing well that night, and then you can kind of ride him, you know what I mean? But I don't mind him getting in there and playing, 5 minutes, seeing what you get, giving Tristan Thompson, Rob Williams a break. I don't mind that at all. Buzzer says, what is the one need the Celtics need to become a better contender? Health, Steven says. That is a good one. I do think that's a good one. I honestly think, well, here's the thing. the one need truly is they need those sort of bench scoring. They need Fournier and Jabari to do this type of thing every night. They need Pritchard to step up. Like, they do maybe have the guys on the team now. I just don't know how reliable it is. But what they need is, one, to be able to score outside of those top three guys. They need Kemba Walker to step up and to be the guy that we're paying him to be. And you sure as hell need to up the defensive intensity. Like, this team, the Celtics teams in years past have always been a team that sort of fight defensively, and even during this win streak, they're letting up a lot. I mean, a lot of easy buckets. So it's tough. Phil says you should do a live stream game of the play-by-play. I mean, I might do that. I might do that. Lance saying a buzzer beater. MT saying, damn, no beers, and yet the words are hard. It's all good to have slipped the flitch. Hey, words are hard no matter what, so maybe it's good tonight that I'm not drinking. KJ says, you want a name they could actually get in the draft? Luka Garza. Wouldn't. You guys don't even know what I was about to say. Wooden Award winner, classic great college player that people underrate because of the athleticism falls, and he has a good career. Maul saying, if we aren't getting top 10 picks, then we should trade the picks and Neesmith for a vet. Wouldn't be opposed. Deshaun says, I think this is a better roster than last year, and the fact that they are playing better in the fourth quarter. If you remember last year, Celtics would go up big and lose late. Yeah, last year's. How about last half of the season, this previous half of the year? This team's definitely better. And it's when I say definitely, again, you're kind of riding on those names I just mentioned about what this team needs. You're riding on those names doing their job, but they're doing their job. Like, I can't say Jabari Parker isn't going to get you 11 points in Celtics uniforms every night, because so far so good. He's checking that box. Delta saying they should probably move their draft pick, or at least package it to move up. Not many roster spots open. Yeah, they can't just take another mid-rounder or get another 4'1" power forward. Movie says Trae Young's a foul baiter, top 2 most annoying player to watch. Raisin said, I legit think the Celtics can beat any team in the East other than the Nets. Greg says, don't see them beating the Nets or Sixers. Embiid will get 15 plus free throws a game, and he's been unstoppable. Excuse me. Yikes! I might up chuck some stuff on the street. And I told you guys my stomach's all messed up today. Lance says, I was so angry about the Pelican games where he blew 24-point lead. I want to see a reaction. Now I'm watching you after every single game. That's where you found us. See, that's the funny thing. Like, these streams are somehow, some way so fun even after losses. Like, Len, you probably jumped on here and you were like, I just need to bitch and moan like everyone else. And then everyone in here, including myself, was like, screw this. And now you're in here every single damn night, or morning for you over there in the AM right now. News says someone in Brooklyn is going to get hurt for the playoffs. It makes them beatable. It definitely does. I just, you just can't bank on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably going to happen given those guys' histories, but you can't bank on it. Mo says, what do you think Jabari Parker will thrive at more, the 4 or the 5? The 4. I think the 4. I think he's a guy that, could be a non-factor at the 5, getting in absolute foul trouble. Like, and that's assuming that there's a 5 on him. Now, if the other team is small and it matches up well, then it's a completely different story. But if we're just talking like traditional lineup, Jabari Parker, I think could probably get abused by a big man down low. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the footwork to keep with him. He's probably going to hook him and foul him. So I like the 4. And plus with Robert Williams playing well, Tristan Thompson, and if they need Luke Cornette to come in, I don't think that they need Jabari Parker to stretch at the 5 unless it's a small ball lineup. KJ says slip the flitch, put that on a K-shirt. TJ, that was dyslexia at its finest. Put that on I almost said it in a K-shirt. Put that on a T-shirt, KJ. Buzzerby said, should the Celtics sign Isaiah Thomas? He was rumored to go there. I mean, I would take him. I don't know if he would. I would take him just for the nostalgia of it, obviously. I don't think he would do much. I don't think you necessarily would play him over Pritchard, unless Pritchard's playing poorly. But in terms of having a roster spot over Tremont Waters or Carson Edwards, I think Tremont's the 2-way, right? So that probably impacts it. But in terms of Carson Edwards or something like that, I would take him at least just for the theatrics of it, but I wouldn't bank on it necessarily. Connor says, if Cousins doesn't get re-signed to a third 10-day contract, would you do a similar cut wager and sign with Jabari, and where you cut Cornette and sign Cousins? I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'm probably sounding like an idiot saying this, but I don't know if I would take DeMarcus Cousins over Cornette right now. And that sounds so weird saying, but DeMarcus Cousins hasn't been. Cornette's at least contributed. And DeMarcus Cousins, I've always played the game of, well, he's, sign this guy because he's better than this guy. I don't know. I'd want to see more from DeMarcus Cousins than he's shown recently. I know he's better than Cornette. I know that. I get it. But I mean, I'd be able to get over it if they did that, but I just don't know if that's like a slam dunk move to me. Like, I could see that not working out. Jabari Parker over Mo Wagner, I think that that's just a no-brainer either way. Mo Wagner's not even playing for you. Fournette's actually getting some run, and he hasn't really slipped up. He's had some big games. Like, he's actually contributing. News says, can we just cut Waters or Fall, or are we stuck with them to contractual reasons? I think they are contractually, you can't just, unless you get another guy and have to sign him to a two-way. I don't know how that works, but I'm thinking Waters and Fall are probably, restricted to some degree. Guys, I'm going to say it again. The ones that used to be my teleprompter here, you guys got to be proud of me. I've definitely improved in asking guys like that aren't subscribed to subscribe to the channel, so I'm going to do it again. If you are watching right now and you're not subscribed, please hit the big red subscribe button. It goes a long way for the channel. I can't believe we're at like 540-something subscribers. That is crazy. In just like 3-4 months, we'd call it. Shout out to you guys for doing that. Please like the stream if you're watching right now, and turn on the notification bell. We're live after every single Celtics game. Delta says, you're going to review the box score tonight. We did look at it earlier, but we can flash it up again. If we look at the box score, Jayson Tatum, 44 points, 10 boards. He was a plus 12. He shot 64% and 56% from the field. There we had Kemba Walker, 26 and 8. Jabari with 11 and 4. Marcus Smart, tough shooting night. He was 27% from 3, but made that one big one. 16, 9, and 6 from Marcus Smart. And then Peyton Pritchard also was aggressive. We didn't even talk about him as much earlier. That 3 that he hit from like near the logo was awesome. But coming out of that box score too, we did have Jayson Tatum, obviously the Celtics Live postgame player of the game here. It's the 7th time he's picked up that nod this year for us. We only do it on wins if you guys are new here and need to know that. But 44 and 10 from him tonight. Pretty damn nuts. Let's see. I'm missing my chat here. I think hold on. I got this. Greg says we can't draft from like 10 to 18. Drafted Grant after him, but Langford, Neesmith, while 3 guys right there were Hero, Halliburton, and Brandon Clark. Imagine them instead. Yeah, that's crazy. That's kind of crazy. KJ says, remember how dangerously close they are to the tax? Dead money from release and a vet minimum contract could push them over. Keith Smith said yesterday he thinks that ship has sailed. MT says, say what you want about the Nets losing, but losing LaMarcus Aldridge was a big loss there. Already old-ass balls at the C's position. If they land a 2 seed and play the Bucks, it'll be a tough matchup in the second round. Yeah, I mean, the Nets are beatable. I just think that, if they're healthy, and I'm not going to bank on them not being healthy because why would I prepare for that? I think that they're just incredibly gifted offensively. Movie saying, trade Carson overseas for Jimmer for that. Bring him in. Lance says Boogie would be useless. Okay, at least I'm not. Maybe I thought I was maybe like going crazy there because DeMarcus has the name and Cornette's like a who's this guy, but it sounds like you guys are agreeing with that. KJ even says you're right. Cornette's over Cousins right now. That might be true for every team. At least it is for this team. Yeah. So that's the thing. When I had said like any name that had ever been brought up on the stream, I'm pretty much like, yeah, give that guy a shot because he's better than what you had, right? Jabari Parker over Wagner, any sort of switch like that. But now you're at the point where it's like, okay, DeMarcus Cousins has the name. He has some sort of, good play in him. He showed it before, but now he hasn't really done much in a while. And Cornette's a guy that, while he's not playing that much, he has contributed. He's actually had some big games, relatively speaking. Big. But, I don't think I pull that trigger because I also don't know if that's like the shakeup you need. I don't think Cousins comes in and is that big of an impact that like you possibly could have messed up. MT says, I agree. The Green Hornet, the Green Cornet over Cousins. Cornet never gives out his element, does exactly what you want, riding from third big man, if not a little more. Delta says, with Parker as well as bonuses for Tatum and Fournier, I think this team is in the tax anyways this year. Buzzer says, is there any realistic free agents you would want to sign this year? No, I don't think, and I'm only saying no because I really don't think, I think that they might be done. Like, I think this is the team we're moving forward with, and I'm glad they did make that move. But Buzzer, in like I said it a couple streams ago, so in all seriousness, I thought they were done before the Jabari signing. So I could look like the idiot again, but if they do make a move, then great. But I really wouldn't get our hopes up for another sort of signing and cutting here. Like, I think that this might be the team they're moving forward with. Connor says, I think bringing IT back could win games by just having some fans go crazy every time he came off the bench and scored even with a limited attendance. Did you guys see that tweet, the tweets that he put out? I don't even know if he kept them up or whatever because I know he's getting some heat from it. But let me see if I can pull him up for us. He put out some tweets that you can only assume, he might have been talking about the Celtics. I don't know. See if I can find him here. Here we go. Do we think... I don't know. I mean, he has to be talking about the Celtics here, right? He says, 2 tweets. I'll read them in order. He goes, come playoff time, you need vets and leadership. So if you don't have that in foundation, you ain't winning shit. It's that simple. If your best players aren't leaders, you better have some vets on that team to carry your torch. You ain't winning anything. Is that Isaiah Thomas talking shit to the Celtics? I don't know. I mean, it fits such a narrative of that's like the Celtics issue, right? Tatum and Brown weren't leaders, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Lance says, only the OGs know what Manscaped is. 2 says, what did you like most about Tatum's game tonight? The fact that, he wasn't forcing it. He Tatum, and that's been a sort of a constant thing, recently. Tatum doesn't look like he's just aggressively trying to get 44 points. That was just a big 44 points from him tonight that it looked like he just went out and got. He went out and got 40 points, 40 plus. So I like that because we know he has it in him. News says you need to get Manscaped to sponsor the MVP award. Ads write themselves. Yeah, hey, they pulled out. I mean, maybe we'll talk to them in the future, but no more reads for that right now. But maybe they might have gotten out a little bit too early after that inside joke came out. Connor says, can the Lakers please slip to the 7th seed and lose in the playoff tournament? I just don't want to see LeBron and the Lakers franchise get another chip. Ubi says, I agree with MT. Kyrie got locked up by Bledsoe. Imagine Drew guarding him. KD and Giannis cancel each other out and Harden at the point. Dan saying, underrated fake by Smart. Bazemore legitimately ran away and was not even in the play anymore. Marcus Smart was kind of like shocked by that too. He faked the pass over to, I think it was Kemba at the top of the key, and then Marcus Smart even almost tripped up because he was probably like, where the hell's that guy running? I thought he was gonna move a little bit, but holy crap, he's on his way to Ohio. And then Marcus was like, okay, I guess I gotta shoot, and then he drilled it. Raisin saying, instead of already looking to the playoffs, let's just celebrate this one. I know, hey, but in everyone's defense, Raisin, we've spent 50 minutes talking about this one. Now it's kind of like, all right, the stream's getting a little old now. We can only talk about this game for so long. Now what's next? But I hear you. Land saying, it's 6 o'clock there. I have to go. Great show. Let's go Celtics. Shout out to Land for tuning in at 6 a.m. where he is over there. Lane saying, let's get Beal. I mean, I'd take him. I just don't know if that's going to happen until Kemba's contract's up. KJ says, just to clarify, USA Today confirmed one of the mechanics in signing Parker to a 2-year deal kept them out of the tax. Only a few reasons to do it. Ubi says, I think those tweets are the reason the Celtics don't sign him. It's just an FU for those tweets. If it is at them, right? But I don't think, like I said, regardless of Isaiah and everything, I love Isaiah. He's got his bobble right there, right? And you guys, if you've been following me for a long time, he's interacted with me plenty on Twitter, so I think we're best friends. I just think that this is the team that we're moving forward with, if I'm being completely honest. And that's not really based on much. That's just kind of my feeling. Let's see. KJ says you might want to take a look at Bradley Beal's Twitter. Let's see. Watch, that was able to work for this. Now I'm going to try and load Twitter, and it's not going to work. Let's see what Bradley Beal said. Oh-ho. Bradley coming in hot. I mean, Bradley's had that so many times, right? He's had that Instagram post and everything like that. I think Bradley Beal wants to be a Celtic. But I just don't know if it's gonna happen via trade or anything. If anything, the way it would make sense of when Kemba's money's up and Kemba maybe doesn't want to accept his player option, Bradley Beal's contract's up at the same time, and then they sort of, there's a marriage there, but I don't know. Jen says Taco's the best center. I know Jen is a huge Taco fan. He's not a bot. Lane says, yeah, come down the road for sure. I just feel like we got to match Brooklyn with that superpower. Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, that's going to be super tough to even just saying that we can match their superpowers is just a ridiculously tough thing to do in and of itself. So down the road, I would take it in a heartbeat, and that would be, you get Bradley Beal, that is a way to match that superpower. Brad says, like and subscribe, best show on YouTube without twerkers. Please, guys, if you do consider subscribing, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and we do have the donation link too. So I know you guys have asked in the past, how can we support the show? You've been grinding doing this, Ev, and that's how you do it. And shout out to the people that have donated thus far. You get the pop up on the screen and everything like that. So I really, really appreciate that. New says, have you watched him play this year? Don't even know I'm responding. Follows awful. Jan's just a huge taco. No one's going to talk Jan off this ledge. Huge Taco Fall fan. I've seen it in the chat before. Greg says, we need Hasheem Thabit for his comeback story lead us to the finals. Ubi says, imagine that Kofi Cockburn has the MVP-ness of the game. You guys just won't let MVP-ness die, huh? You won't let it die. I was talking to KJ about it, and we're thinking about releasing a shirt. I don't know how it would work, but it would only be like you guys would get an exclusive link through here to pick up, I don't know, a $10 shirt or something. We'd figure it out but let me know if you guys would be interested in that, because we could definitely make that happen. Let's see, what do we got? Greg says, better than Grant and Williams and Semi. Delta says, Kemba in the last year for Beal. Yeah, I think they're up at the same time, so as long as Kemba doesn't accept this player option, Beal could be a legitimate target. Guys, I know we're going off about Taco. We don't need to go off about Taco right now. Ian says, I'd take Jays and Beal over Durant, Harden, and Kyrie every day of the week. I think it'd just be a more fun team too, right? Like a more fun team to watch than Kyrie, Durant, and Harden. Because the one thing you could say about that team if they get good, it's like, oh yeah, they're a big three. 66% of it was found through the Celtics. They didn't just go and join their team. Like, I always think back to Kyrie when he was with the Celtics. I think it was at the All-Star game, right? Where him and Durant were kind of like, me and us two, me and you. And he's like, I wasn't talking about joining up. Lo and behold, they go and join forces in Brooklyn. But, he tried to play it off like, I don't know what he was saying. But he's like, oh, let's go bowling, double date tomorrow night. It's like, no, dude, you were clearly trying to plan that. And that just, always, grinds my gear thinking back to it. Because it's like, as much as we didn't like Kyrie and stuff, everyone convinced themselves that was all, a media game, that he was leaving and he wasn't happy here. And then, all these things, everything lines up and poof, he's gone. Let's see. Delta saying some main four off the bench for the playoffs are Payton, Fournier, Parker, TT. Not a bad group. And we said it earlier. That is literally the definition of how the season can go. It's like if Parker plays like he did tonight, check box. Fournier does what he's done, before getting sick. Check that box. Then you have Tristan Thompson, who I truly do believe in. I think Tristan Thompson, is proving a lot of people wrong. I've been high on Tristan Thompson all year long. And then you go and get, a Peyton Pritchard, a gem at the late end of the first round in the draft, that if he can go out and actually provide those backup true point guard minutes, this team's way better than people think. MT saying, got you, shirt MVP is for 3. What do we got? KJ says, or Lane saying, are we winning against Phoenix on Thursday? Going to be one of the biggest wins of the streak if we do. Yeah, that team is tough. I think it's a home game, right? Which is good because I can't remember the last time the Celtics won in Phoenix. But that's going to be a big test because that team obviously has the offensive firepower, but what people never associate with them, I mean, this year people are coming wise to it, but how good defensively that team is. You always think of Phoenix as the run and gun, play no defense, score a bunch of points team. They're a legit defensive team this year, and it's going to be pretty interesting, and that's going to be a huge feather in the Celtics cap if they take that dub. KJ saying, if Beal forces his way out and says he'll only play for Boston, then the Celtics could offer young players and picks, plus Kemba's expiring, and then your starting lineup is Smart, Beal, Brown, Tatum, and Williams. Yeah, and everyone that has said before, I don't think Beal would fit with Tatum and Brown, it's like, then you honestly, if you don't think he'll fit, maybe he doesn't fit, right? But then you're not caught up in today's NBA. The more firepower you have, the more absolute, stars you have on the team, the better off you are. So it's anyone that says, I wouldn't take Beal, it's come on now. And I'm one of Kemba Walker's biggest fans, but Bradley Beal's a better star right now than Kemba. I don't think anyone can deny that. And if you do, I wish I was as big of a Kemba fan as you. Let's see. Connor says, oh, here we go. Connor says, if getting Beal seems like a no-brainer, I know it seems like a no-brainer, but I would get a little scared because he's never played with a contending team. Still take the risk of to do it. Just keeping that in mind. Well, that's fair, but it's not I don't see how you get Bradley Beal. Especially the one thing is if he wants to come here, that's a complete different attitude change. It's not like you're taking a guy that's going to take shots away and stuff. You are, but the one thing I keep saying is, like, this isn't talking about a guy, like, bringing him in and being, oh, he would take shots away from Tatum and Brown. He would, but you're talking about, like, the best scorer in the NBA right now. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. You have to sort of swallow your, not talking directly to you, Connor, because this isn't even what you're saying. But anyone that says, oh, he wouldn't fit here or anything like that, it's like, you have to swallow your pride a little bit, because you're talking about an absolute superstar. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. It's not just bringing in a guy that's going to shoot a lot or whatever. It's bringing in one of the best scorers in the game right now. Greg says Devin Booker is going to kill us. I think him and Jordan are the top 2 scorers against the Celtics for averages. He had the 70-pointer. That definitely helps. Lane says, got to be back at the Garden. It's going to be a movie. Going to be back at the Garden. MT says, need Fournier back as well. JT and Rob. Phoenix is no joke. A lot of balance on that squad this season. CP3 definitely playing like a top 10 MVP candidate. For some reason, I've been botching comments all night. I feel like I just ran train on that one. Every single word pronounced correctly. Oh, shout out to me, huh? Lane saying, you could say the same about Kemba joining us and gone pretty damn well. Exactly. That's a really good point. It's like Kemba comes here and there were a bunch of people being, oh my God, he's going to stunt the growth of Tatum. It's no. The more scoring, the more star power you can get in the NBA is the right approach. Oh, my screen's bugging out here. All right, we're good. Jen's all over Taco right now. Greg says, wouldn't want Bradley Beal. That's who wouldn't want Bradley Beal? That's ludicrous if you wouldn't take Kemba and Smart. If you would take Kemba and Smart over him. Travis said Celtics have been so fun to watch lately. They are absolutely past the point of this team suck. Like I hope that they have worked everyone out of that. Like, and I'm sure you guys know them too. Like, there's people, some of us might be them too, where it's like that team started to suck, the Celtics team, and then you're kind of hoping for it because you live and you loved the sort of disappointment of the team because it was fun to bitch and moan about it. But I think they're past that. I think they're definitely more fun to watch. I think they're finally just starting to try in games and want to fight at the end. MT saying choo. Delta saying any chance this team gets the third in the East? I don't think so. I think, fourth is as high as they'll get. If they get to third, that'd be great. But I think it's fourth or anything. I just don't want to be 6. Like 4 or 5 really doesn't matter to me. I don't care that much about the home court advantage for 4 or 5. I just don't want to be 6. Ubi saying Mikal Bridges will torch us in that Phoenix game. Travis saying 4 would be nice. I like our chance if we get the 4th seed in the first round, 100%. Fight saying, imagine Donovan, Beal, Brown, Tatum, Williams, and Smart off the bench. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. Travis saying, I think Celtics, if they get 4 seed, will win round 1, put up a decent fight round 2, and then that's it. Yeah, I don't know about the longevity. Like I said earlier, and we talked about it. It's honestly a matter of, can they contend? Yes. Is this team, a bunch of contenders? I don't know. Can you stamp contenders on the Celtics' forehead? Maybe not yet, but can they contend? Can they beat any team? Yeah, I'm in that boat. But guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you to every single person who tuned in tonight. Awesome stream. As always, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, subscribing, donating, liking, everything like that. It's where we started this stream to where it is now. I'm so thrilled. So appreciate each and every one of you guys that tune in every single night. Or if you're new, this is the first time in here, we're here live after every single Celtics game. So be sure to tune in and hit that subscribe button so you keep coming back for more. But we will catch you in the next one. Go Seas. I keep saying it. Hopefully next game we're talking about a dub. So far, so good on my wishes because we're on a little bit of a win streak right now. So I'll catch you guys in the next stream.